Right. In the bag.
Hey guys, thank you for joining us on another episode of In the Bag podcast. I'm Kenny V. Hawkins.
I'm Kayla Gamble.
And this is episode 10. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about
Aliens.
Aliens, yeah, space, and all that, basically, all that jazz that deals with conspiracies. But before we get into that, really, can you talk a little bit about what's been going on recently?
Yeah. So let's see.
Anything to plug?
So recently, I have been just kind of focusing on my school, really. School started recently, so focusing.
Shout out to USF.
Yeah, shout out to USF. So focusing on all my classes right now. Just started my internship with press PR and marketing, which I talked about on last podcast as well. But yeah, so it's been pretty exciting, and also just trying to finish up that certification for my natural holistics class. Just so I can get that and really start focusing on making my name my own brand type of thing.
Yeah.
But other than that, just kind of been chilling, focusing on the podcast and everything like that. What about you?
As of late, I've been trying to get back into some old hobbies that I've been doing, like painting, just working out more in general, trying to be more physically fit and healthier. I was trying a diet for a little bit, as we both know it didn't go that well.
No.
But I tried it, you know what I mean? Trying to be just an overall more active, better person. Other than that, school's back. And I feel like with this new fall semester, I feel like I've gotten a second wind, so to speak, you know what I mean? Like I just feel like a lot of times for school, I don't feel motivated, and often I just am like super bored and uninterested in all of school. But this semester, I'm feeling pretty excited actually, so it's cool.
And we're halfway through, so I feel like having seeing kind of the finish line, it's like, all right, we got this.
Let me tighten up.
Yeah.
Let me tighten up.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, since we're talking about aliens, we should, I feel like, start with the fact that I just started midway through the Bob Lazar Netflix documentary that came out.
Before we even go on that, and before we go in depth about talking about who Bob Lazar is, tell me a little bit about your first experience with aliens. Talking about the first time you even heard aliens were
I don't
saw a movie about aliens. Do you have an early memory?
Well, the only memory I don't remember when I knew what aliens were, but the earliest memory I have with aliens is watching Aliens versus Predator versus Alien. Whatever the order. When I was younger with my grandma, and it scared the shit out of me. And yeah, so that's the earliest memory I have of seeing an alien, alien on a TV, quotes for people who are just listening. But in terms of just actually knowing what an alien is or understanding it, I honestly do not remember the earliest memory I have of it. I just remember in high school when I was kind of going down my whole conspiracy lane. I started researching a lot more about it. Nobody really told me anything about it though. My parents weren't really talking about that or anything. But yeah. What about you?
I think I feel like I've always heard about aliens. That's always been a conversation.
Yeah.
Just because in terms of what I watched, what my family watched, that was always the thing. My mom, she's the biggest Star Trek fan. And we always watch Star Wars. All those movies are 100% just about aliens.
Yeah.
And being in space and stuff like that. So the concepts and the idea of aliens, it's always been around, you know what I mean? But I didn't actually start sitting down and thinking yo, what if aliens are real? Or what are aliens? Or what would they even look like? Where did the story stem from? I didn't start doing any of that stuff until probably I don't know, maybe a few years before you. We're still both mad young, so it's up until a certain point ago, we were just focused on fucking nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel with the whole alien thing, it's not on your radar really when you're younger, because I mean, unless you're into
unless you see something, or you're
just
into
sci-fi or something. And I knew that's another thing too. My grandma was really big into sci-fi, so I knew, like, I kind of saw some stuff about that, but in terms of like me actually doing research, I never really did. But now that I'm older and, you know, people are coming out more with saying some stuff, definitely I definitely have looked into it more, especially with this whole like Area 51 thing that's supposed to be happening on my birthday. Just want to say that. But
that's in reference to when
the Bob Lazar thing.
Yeah, the Bob Lazar thing came out. People went to social media, specifically like Twitter. People were all over Twitter.
Yeah.
And then it was the craziest thing because like you could see millions of people talking on Twitter like, yeah, we're gonna run up in Area 51. We're gonna storm Area 51. And we don't care about the military.
We want to see what's
we got our
going
own
on.
guns. We trying to see show us the vehicles.
Yeah.
Show us the UFOs. And then it's violent on Twitter.
Yeah. The thing is though, is that like, and next to like the Facebook page of like 200 or not 200K, I think it's like 2K or going or something like that.
It was a lot of people.
It was a lot of people
who were going.
But the thing is though, is like, I'm gonna see what really happens because that's supposed to be happening in like 3 weeks. I'm gonna see because if that really does happen.
By the time this episode even comes out, it'll probably have already happened.
Yeah, or about to happen.
About to happen.
No, I think it'll be about to happen. But no, definitely we'll keep y'all updated if y'all don't like look into that type of stuff. But it'll be interesting to see because I feel like either one or two things are gonna happen. Either it's not gonna happen because people are just like, nah, like we thought we were gonna do it, but like they're gonna even if people like actually go there. It might be one of those things like, nah, we're just kidding. Like, we're not going to do that. Or people are going to go in and then either, I don't know, because I can't imagine, like, the government's going to be like, yeah, you want to see it? Here you go. Like, no.
Well, the thing about Area 51 is, and a lot of government bases, is they're not just, like, above-ground bases. It's not like you just walk in to the desert in Nevada, go to Area 51 and be like, oh, we're the aliens. It's like they have like security clearances, they have underground bunkers.
Yeah.
It's like not something that's easily accessible. So even if you do go, and even if it is there, there's no like 100% success rate in finding what you're looking for.
And even if they do, let's be real, like it's the government, like they.
Yeah, I don't think people will. I think that's all just one big troll.
Yeah.
I wasn't taking that seriously.
And I feel like also it would be one of those things of like, oh, well. They suddenly died, and we don't know how these people died.
Who does that sound like? Who does that sound like? With the who's the guy who just died in prison?
Jeffrey Epstein, I think his name is. Epstein, yeah.
So you're saying this has nothing to do with aliens?
Nah.
Just a little fishy talk for like in terms of conspiracies. You're saying like under 24/7-hour surveillance watch, and he wasn't even in like a crazy prison. He was like in like county, I think, or state. Which has people looking at you all the time, 24/7.
And I was gonna say, and he actually wasn't on. Apparently, he wasn't on suicide watch anymore when he died.
But still,
but he's such a high-profile case that it's like you would think that they would keep an eye on him.
I was watching. This does actually relate to aliens. I was watching Danny Brown's show that he does through Vice or Viceland, where he was talking about aliens a little bit, and he was talking about conspiracies. He was talking about this one in specific, and he was saying how, and he just brought up a point, like, he's been to jail, guards are always watching you. How did that happen? Especially with a person as important as Epstein was. Because if you think about it, the reports and the articles when they came out said the guards had fell asleep temporarily. One of them had left the station, and then mysteriously, the footage, because it's a jail, they have security cameras, stopped working. So it's like, here's what I think happened. I don't think he's dead. I think he has enough money and enough private islands that he paid someone. He's out of there.
You think he's dead?
I don't think he's dead. I really don't, because it's like
they did an autopsy and everything. I mean.
There's a million lookalikes for Jeffrey
I was gonna say, I mean,
in North Manhattan of New York alone.
Yeah, I mean,
he looks like the average middle-aged Caucasian male.
I feel like even if he did, I think that he did kill himself. And if he did kill himself,
how did he kill himself? Under watch? Where did the guards go? Where's the
because
guards
are so corrupt. Like I'm sorry, excuse me. He had a lot of money, like a lot.
So
of
you
money.
think he used his money to get himself killed? It's like
no, not that. But what I'm saying is though, he could he's not a dumb guy, and especially, which I'm just gonna say, I do believe all the women that are saying all these accusations because they have
it's a touchy subject because he was fucking kids,
and that's what I'm saying. So, and to me, it's like if he's a smart guy and he sees that wow, my life's done now. Why would he not? But why would he not set it up where he has maybe money stashed away for his girl or for whatever, or for some bigger plan that was
So you're
made?
saying he's the one who did this to himself? He committed suicide. He paid the guards so he could kill himself.
I think he paid the guards off, whether he was going to kill himself or not, whether he was just maybe I should kill myself. But I do think that he definitely did something with the guards, gave them money.
So you think he's dead right now?
Yeah, and if he's not, I mean, then he's not.
I think it's much more likely because he has billions. They were talking about.
He's pretty rich.
They're talking about
he owns islands.
Billions of dollars. I think he has enough money to where he could easily, illegally give someone money. They say the guards passed out. Say it was just power outage. I don't know what happened to the security footage. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you have no shoelaces. You have nothing. The thing is, it's how do you kill yourself when you have nothing to kill yourself with? It's you don't have anything.
I don't remember what they said that he exactly killed himself with.
He strangled himself. You don't have shoelaces. It's how did you kill? Yeah, did they say?
I don't know. I don't remember. I'd have to look that up. But
I don't think they'd be having sheets like that either. But it's jail. It's not
They do have sheets though. They have at least.
They had a blanket, maybe, but not. I don't think they have top linens and shit.
No, but you can still have sheets though. They can be $1 sheets, but you can still have sheets. But I feel I
don't think they have sheets in certain prisons, just because that leaves more room for people to hide contraband.
Yeah, I mean,
in jail they flip mattresses and shit like that.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a very weird situation. It's a very sus situation.
Yeah.
And in terms of suspicious things in the government, all that, it does relate back to the aliens, just because the government and aliens do kind of go together.
Yeah, it's if there are
ways.
Yeah, exactly. You're right, because it's if there are aliens, it's very, very unlikely that the government is ignorant to that information. They probably know if there is aliens, they know about it.
For sure. There's no way.
If they know about it, the aliens most likely know that they know about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And like I said, talking about Bob Lazar too.
Who is Bob Lazar? Can you break down a little bit about his backstory and exactly?
Yeah.
We haven't really gotten into his history.
Bob Lazar, from what I know, I don't know a lot about the whole situation, but from what I know, Bob Lazar used to work at Area 51 back in the 70s, I think.
70s or 80s, something like that.
And it basically really fucked him up, mentally, emotionally, all of that.
What type of things was Bob working on while he was at Area 51? And also just I could mention it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the marshals and stuff like that who were running Area 51, they found Bob Lazar because he was a local physicist at a college, and he was building jet engines and turbines in his garage. Mm-hmm. And he makeshift. He made a car that had a giant engine, and it was just cool because he's the local mad scientist, so to speak. Mm-hmm. So they recruited him to work on some things. And it's the military, so it's super confidential. And then what he says is they brought him in to reverse engineer technology that they found that was not from this planet. Excuse me. They also went into detail, to talk about the things that he was seeing and the experiments that he did, mm-hmm. and the people that he talked to. And throughout the years, the past 40 years, I think, right? Yeah, 40 something years. Bob Lazar has came out and he's actually said a whole bunch of things that he predicted a long time ago, since the 80s, and they later came out to be true. This whole time, certain organizations that have been ran by the government or really big news outlets, media outlets, have gone out of their way to discredit Bob Lazar.
Say he never was even part of it.
Say he never existed, when there's picture evidence that says, for example, they deleted and erased all of his records from the college that he was teaching at and working at, and if you go back and ask psychology, like, we have no records of them. But there's actual images that we saw in the Bob Lazar documentary of him at the college in newspaper article form, in actual image form. Like, it's documented that was a blatant lie. He also came out, he also came out and he was like, oh yeah, the government has, at the time, which is back in the 80s, he was like, they use this thing to let you into the base, and it is like a hand scanner where you put your hand on a metal plate and it uses an infrared light or a really bright light to measure the distance between your bones and your fingers. And because each human has different length of space between their bones, that's how you could identify someone. Which
that was back in the
like 80s or 70s.
Oh wow.
Which
that's wild.
Later in the 2000s, like the year 2000, I think, the military and the U.S. government declassified a whole bunch of files. Turned out that was actually real, because if you check out the Bob Lazar documentary on Netflix, the filmmaker who directed that documentary, he found images of it. And Bob Lazar was like, yep, that's exactly it. They found video of how it works and everything.
Yeah.
He was right about that. Back then, also in the 80s and the 70s, Bob Lazar came out, and in terms of chemistry, he said a big reason why this alien technology works is because their machinery works off of elements that we don't yet have, right? So he predicted an element called element 115, I believe, radioactive element, and then he said this a long, long time ago. He was like, yeah, this is the element that they're working on. It's a real thing. We made it when we were reverse engineering the alien tech. They came out in 2004 and said that was an actual real element that they found.
Wow.
It's like certain things just, it's weird.
That's wild. And it's what's crazy too is like it's hard to believe even what the government even says when things like that exist, because now you have a man who's telling you all these things and people back then are like, oh, he's crazy. And now 30 years later it's like, oh no, he was right.
And the truth.
But then you have people like, what was that guy's name that I was just looking at?
So on the other side of the spectrum, there was people like Stan Romanek, his story, and he's an author who came out as a potential abductee. Like, he used to get taken by aliens.
He basically said that he got taken by aliens in his sleep or something, and
and they would just fuck with him.
They like did a bunch of experiments on him, and they was probed or something, and then he came back. And then like
he would like have alien kids, and they'd mess up his family, mess up his life, and like the government was trying to get him.
And then he said that like he came back, and then he got child pornography charges. But then he said that.
Well, you can't just jump and say that. You got to be a little bit more specific than that.
Well, I was gonna go in and say.
So basically, so he was going into fights with the government because of all these reports and things he was putting out, and then. He got like kidnapped or abducted or something. Something happened, came back to his crib basically, and his whole hard drive, which is like the big part of the computer, was covered in like child pornography. So the FBI scooped him up, discredited him, and then I don't think...
That's when he... What were you
going to say? I was going to say, I don't think either he went to jail and he never got out, or he never even got charged. I don't even think he went to jail.
I don't think he's in jail right now.
Yeah, I think...
I'm not...
I don't think he got any like charges like that.
Well, either way, it's just the fact that he said that, like, this wasn't him that did this. This was like, just something that happened after this whole alien situation.
The whole thing was sketch, and he was definitely proven to be lying about several different things. And he's come out and said, I lied about several different things.
And then even his wife, wrote a book on that type of stuff. So they
have like 5 books combined.
Yeah, so I get like critics who, critique Bob Lazar just because of the fact that like they're like it kind of sounds a little too much, but the fact that like that he has so much evidence behind it, and versus like this guy, there's hoax for everything, but at the end of the day though, Bob Lazar had facts and receipts to back it up. So
and another thing is Bob Lazar never really talked about aliens. He never really was like, I was there, I was fucking with aliens were talking to me. He never says that at all.
He just focused on like
the
always
actual crafts. His job was he was working on vehicles and crafts, and he saw how they worked, and his job was to figure them out. He didn't talk about aliens like that.
But then you could take conspiracy theorists who could take that.
What I was going to say is, in the documentary form of the Bob Lazar story, he says how the only time that he really had interaction with the aliens or the beings is when his bosses would just talk about them. He didn't actually see them. His bosses would just talk about them. And then the bosses, this is all according to Bob Lazar. I'm just paraphrasing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Bob Lazar's bosses would refer to the creatures as the kids, which was really, really weird to me, because it's like, what do you mean the kids? Like,
yeah.
I don't know, it's just weird.
That is pretty weird. Yeah. And I mean, like, it makes sense too when you have like conspiracy theorists who kind of like run with Bob Lazar's story.
Yeah.
And basically it's like, well, if you're working on alien designs, alien equipment, whatever, it's kind of not hard to think, well, are there aliens here?
Yeah.
And because we all, like, at this point, I mean, there's our people who still don't believe in aliens, but at this point though, like, they're real, they're somewhere at least, but are they here?
Yeah.
And are they here, and is the government in cahoots with them? Are we cool, like, type of thing? Are they in our daily lives? We just don't know. How do they look?
Where do you think aliens come from?
Well, I was going to say, in terms of like looking, a lot of people think that like aliens look like what has been depicted, which is like this, big like green head and maybe...
The grays is what's commonly depicted.
Yeah.
The big gray head, gray
Yeah.
body,
Yeah.
big black eyes.
Yeah. And then like their language is very like, it sounds very like pixelated type of thing, or like, sounds like they're coming from like a computer or something.
I don't think aliens would use language. Like, I don't think they would be speaking with words.
Well, that's what I was going to say though. That's what
I think they would speak with their minds.
Yeah.
If they're like that crazy of aliens.
Well, I was going to say that's why, like that's like the depiction of like how people have presented them as. But on the flip side though, I don't think that's necessarily how aliens look.
Yeah.
They could look like us and we don't even know, just not be our biological makeup. Yeah. We don't know.
You want to know the interesting part about what you just said is the fact that the traditional gray aliens with the big head, gray skin, and black eyes, that's actually how human bodies start to transform when they've been in space for too long. Because of the lack of the gravity in space, your bones become less dense. They don't need to be that dense because there's no gravity, so you get super, super frail. Like your body actually starts to shrink in size, but your head might get a little bigger. Also, because of the lack of light, your eyes are going to start to fill, like you're not going to have like the white part of your eye, because you're going to need basically like more pupil, more, what's the colored part of your eye called? Iris?
Yeah.
You're going to need basically more of that, so you can capture more light, so you can see better in space. And then also your head will start to swell up a little bit, just because of the effects of no gravity.
Interesting.
Yeah,
so like, never knew that.
Yeah, like the origins of like the gray aliens actually comes from like really what we would start to look like if we spent generations in space.
Yeah.
Like when astronauts are sent up into the atmosphere, their bodies start to change, and this has been noticed. And then it's like, oh, okay. Just certain similarities like that with like stories that we already have with aliens coming from space. And that's another thing. It's like, why do we assume most aliens come from outer space? Why not interdimensional? Why not, you know what I mean? It's like... That's
always... I feel like it could be both. I definitely feel like there's way too many planets in this universe, and there's multiple universes out there where it's not just us, and it could be many planets. And on top of that, again, aliens are... The biggest thing with aliens is they're not human, they're not us. So they have completely different biological makeup from the impacts that they were, born, raised, whatever the hell they came from. So that also could play into it too, like how they completely look different, anything like that. But also with the interdimensional thing you were saying, I don't really know how that would work. I wouldn't be surprised
if
that...
aliens, instead of coming from a different planet, came from a different reality, came from different... It's like how we always say like there's spirits or beings in this realm, but they're not from this realm. You know what I mean?
But they came from human bodies though.
What? No, I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I wasn't saying that at all.
Okay.
Where did that come from?
Well, I was saying when you say spirits and stuff, and I think of spirits, I think of like...
You think of ghosts, probably.
Yeah, which used to be humans, and then like this goes back to the whole like soul thing or whatever. That's what I was thinking was what you were saying.
No, that's not what I was saying
Gotcha.
at all. I actually had nothing to say about human bodies coming, like aliens coming from human bodies.
Okay.
What I was really saying is like most people, like the point of what I was saying is most people assume alien life or life that's not human, that's also hyper intelligent, was going to come from another planet in outer space, meaning you have to go up outside of the atmosphere into the sky onto another planet to find life similar to ours or smarter. But it's like we don't refer to spirituality as a science anymore in terms of like learning and education. So it's like to think of an alien coming from an interdimensional place is very hard to grasp and like really conceptualize. It's because of the fact that it's one of those things where it's like we have a hard time even grasping what our own reality in our own world is, let alone something completely outside of that. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I feel like either way, you know, I think either way, whether they came from the interdimensional realms or like if they came from outside of our planet, I definitely think that we have had many interactions with them, and they have tried.
What leads you to believe with that?
That we've had many interactions with them?
Yeah.
I mean, just from like, you know, the accounts that people have had, also like UFO sightings and things like that. Yeah. Also weird glitches that have happened, like with high profile people that like I definitely would not be surprised has something to do with aliens.
Glitches like what?
In terms of like when, for example, there's like this video that has gone around of like Hillary Clinton and like she was talking, I don't know.
Spazzing out.
Yeah.
That's actually called the MK Ultra CIA mind controlling experiments.
Yeah.
And that has a little bit less to, I mean, it might still relate to aliens, but that really deals with potentially cloning and mind control, hypnosis, like brainwashing.
Yeah.
That's what that is, like CIA brainwashing shit.
But who's to say though that like?
Well, I'm saying like that's like what it's called, like, what the reports are. That's
well, that's what I was gonna say too though. Like the CIA is obviously like,
who's to say aliens?
The government high up there, and who's to say the government is not? It's not the aliens, then CIA, and then type of thing.
Yeah.
So I would not be surprised if they were in cahoots at all, especially because like if. And who knows what like how aliens are, if aliens are smarter than us or if aliens are whatever, but I'm just assume they're smarter than us. And if they are smarter than us, then I would not be surprised if they were behind the scenes just trying to run everything. Or they could be very afraid of us. Because I feel like humans can look pretty scary to like other beings. Because I even like just species who live on this planet probably look at humans scared as hell.
They probably look at us like demons.
Because we ruin everything.
Yeah.
But I feel like aliens could also be just as scared.
Yeah.
Or in terms of like, it just, you never know, because it could be so many things. Especially I feel like if aliens, like, if they're already here and they do show their face, that'll be a very interesting time to see.
Well, just to bounce and piggyback off of what you were just saying, what if you had to put yourself in the position of being an alien and you find this planet, modern day, right now in this very moment, and you have the ability to look at humanity as a whole, the whole planet as a whole. You know what I mean? What's one of the first things you're doing? You come across humans for the first time and you're looking at humanity and you're like, this is what they're working with? What's the first thing you're doing?
I'm probably going to do a little natural, not so natural selection.
You feel me?
Probably. I mean, like, if I'm an alien coming to this planet and I see everything that humans have screwed up and what they're going to continue screwing up, and then all the holes and the things that like we don't even know, it's probably going to be a little bit of natural but not natural selection. And then after that, I think it's like, especially if you're smarter than humans, it's like, well, why would I not make you guys, like, why would I not make this our land type of thing, like stamp this as our land, our planet, whatever, and run it how they want to run it. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I've never been asked that question before, so I don't know.
I don't
but
think that's like a
what would
average question.
Have you thought of this? Like,
no, that was just on the spot.
So what would you do then? Like, I'm just,
if I see, like, if I just stumble upon Earth for the first time, and I'm with my alien posse, you feel me? I would probably analyze all the human error. That's probably the first thing I would do. See in which aspects, in what ways humans are fucking up the world. And then from there, I don't know.
Just see what happens with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, anything good for us though.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I feel like at the end of the day, like in how, or not aliens, how humans are, having a brand new like thing just come to Earth, or even if it's on Earth, then just doesn't want to show its face or whatever. The government doesn't want to show its face. Because right now too, since we're talking about the government and aliens, it could be another thing too where maybe aliens aren't running the show. Maybe it is the government running the show, but the government is maybe doing tests on aliens. Or,
yeah, that's possible.
Like, that's very possible, especially because we've already done tests on actual human beings. So we already done tests on our actual people, so why would we not do tests on other things too? Just to see, especially if they have alien, crafts and they're able to dissect it and figure out what they exactly did, then who's to say they wouldn't dissect an actual alien body and see what they can do with that?
It's interesting, right? Because I feel like if humans came in contact with some other type of being like that, one of the first things we're gonna do is cut it up.
Oh yeah.
So one of the first things.
What are you supposed to do? Because you have to. I mean, we're curious, so it's like we want to see what's going on in there because, like, we just see this thing come to Earth and hey, what's up? It's like that's just not gonna happen. Like that's just not realistic. I would say. Is it wrong? I mean, or right? I guess that's for you.
Who's to say?
Yeah, exactly. I guess it's for you to decide. But yeah, I feel like aliens and like the whole alien thing in general is very eerie. Just because like I don't know, just the accounts, and again, people can lie all the time. But either way, it sounds creepy as hell, and I would not want to. I would not want to experience any alien like interaction at all. Especially like the whole like taking you from your bed type of thing. And that's another thing too, if that is true, and some people who are saying like that they have been like encountered with aliens, things like that, it's kind of like how do they pinpoint who they choose to do these things to, or to like bring them or whatever. That's something interesting too. It's like what do they see in that particular person? But I'm good though. Like don't come over here. I'm
not gonna lie, I think it would be pretty cool to get lit with some aliens. If I had the opportunity to like really party with some aliens, I feel like that would definitely be an experience I would love to tell my kids about if I'm not dead by the aliens.
I was gonna say, I was like, if it's like a positive. Hey guys, what's up? I'm Kayla.
I'm Kenny.
And this is In the Bag Podcast.
Thank you for watching. Thanks for the support. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment.